Hi guys, in today's video, how do you know the person you're dating is serious and how do you know they're the one? And I definitely think the thing you have to look for in this is a natural flow to the relationship. I think we've all been on dates where there wasn't a natural flow to the date and you were kind of begging the person to go on another date, and sometimes they would go on a date with you and sometimes they would bail it, and you were basically dragging the relationship forward. It was like pushing a car uphill. That's not the right one. You may think it's the right one because you may be physically attracted to that person for whatever reason. They may basically check all the boxes and you think they're amazing, but really the relationship has absolutely no future in that kind of situation, and you're going to be wasting your time begging the person for dates, going on useless dates, going on pointless dates, when you could be dating the one. The one is out there, but if it's not naturally flowing when you're dating, if it doesn't feel right, don't go with it anymore. Just keep on looking and keep on looking for the one, because there's someone out there for you. And communication is a big part of that, especially if you're in a long distance relationship for whatever reason. Communication is huge in that because you can't be with each other 24/7. Nobody can be with each other 24/7. We all have jobs, we all have things to do, we all have, personal lives which are not part of the relationship, which we have to deal with. So you can't be with each other 24/7. But what you can do is you can check in with each other and say, hey, I'm doing this. I remember I sent a message once saying, hey, I'm taking a shower real quick and I'll leave my phone in the bedroom. It was just common courtesy to make sure she knew, Rose-Lou knew, I hadn't dropped off the face of the planet. And same when you're going out and when you're doing things in your party, take a picture of where you're going and check in and say you got there safe and say you're coming back safe, and keep these frequent updates coming to your partner, especially if you're in a long distance relationship, because that shows you are serious. When you're dating, think about this. When you're dating, it is a trial run of marriage. Basically, you are testing the waters. You're testing it out. You're testing if you're married to this person, how would it really be? Would it be a complete nightmare and you want to bail? Because you know what? If you bail when you're dating, you don't have to deal with divorce and lawyers and all that garbage. If you get married, it's a different story. You have to deal with a whole bunch of other stuff if you get married and you decide that person is not right for you and that person is not the one. So the whole point of dating, you have to get this, the whole point of dating is to weed out weed out the no's from the yeses, basically, and make sure that you're going to marry the right person at the end of the day, because you don't want all that garbage with divorce and all that stuff. It's just not worth it at all. On top of communication, I think the other sign you found the one is that they follow through on their promises. Okay, there's nothing worse than they say they're going to go on a date on Saturday or something, and then they bail 5 minutes just after you got out of the shower. They'll bail on you like 5 minutes before or something and say, I don't want to go on this date anymore, or something like that will happen, or they're flippish and you just go one way or the other. That's not the one. Would you want to spend your rest of your life with that person? Hey, if you married that person, you planned a date night, you booked a restaurant and everything, and then she says, oh, blows you off and goes out with her friends or something. You probably don't want to be in a relationship like that. That's not a serious relationship, because you can be not serious and be married. Look around any restaurant. Go out to dinner, look around any restaurant. You'll see married couples, and what are they doing? On the phone, no conversation, no interaction. Okay, it's fine if you have nothing to say to each other because you've had a bad day or something, but don't sit there playing Monopoly on your phone or something when your spouse is sitting across the table from you. It's just rude. You certainly would not do that on a date. If you're doing it on a date, I'm sure you wouldn't have a second or third date, because the person would just blow you off and say this person's useless, But people do that in relationships because they're not serious about the relationship, and they're not serious about the marriage anymore for whatever reason. So do you want a marriage like that? Probably not. So you pick out the right person. But I think that the most important thing here is the relationship when you're dating will naturally flow. That's what happened with me and Rose-Lou, is the relationship when we were dating naturally flew. It naturally moved forwards. It was like a river dragging the both of you together in the current. That's the way it was. I've had other relationships before that where you're constantly just swimming upstream, constantly fighting, trying to get, dates and stuff, and then bail on the dates, and sometimes you won't see the person for 3 weeks or whatever. That's a sign that you're trying to force the one. That person is not the one, but you're trying to force it out of what you want out of life, which is just plain and simply bad. All you have to do is go with the flow. And if you realize the natural progression of the relationship when you're dating is not working out, you feel exhausted because you're constantly trying to get to see this person and stuff, and it's just not working out, then guess what? The universe is trying to send you a message at that point. That person is not the one. The good news is it's not just one person for the other person. It's not like a one-to-one relationship. There's probably several the ones out there. You just haven't met the right one yet. So that's where it goes, really. Just keep looking. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel natural, that person is not for you, and is definitely not the one. And keep looking, and because you don't want to be in a relationship that you have to put in really hard work all the time. It should be easy. And then the trust and communication part comes into it, because if you have to go long distance for whatever reason, someone takes a job at the other side of the country or in another country, for example, then trust is tested and communication is tested. Both of those are tested when you have a distance. What is a person willing to do? Is a person willing to get up at 2, 3 in the morning to call you? If the person is willing to do that, that's a very good sign. If they're willing to adjust their schedule based on you. But if they just want to sleep all night and not take your phone calls, then it's probably not right. It's probably definitely not going to work out in a long distance relationship, because in a long distance relationship, you have to be there for other people, even if it's something stupid. Even if it means that, hey, you got to take a day off work and jump on a plane once in a while because she has some emergency the other side of the country. Just make sure you got the savings for that, and guess what? Do it if you have to, because jobs, as we all know, will come and go, but your relationship hopefully will be there forever. So let's put the relationship first. Don't put a deadline in your job or something more important than the relationship. That's just nonsense, because the job will fire you in a millisecond, and you know that. Hopefully your relationship lasts a little longer than your job. And obviously the other point I want to get to is you find the one after you have vetted your dates. I know this sounds weird, but if you're single right now, write down a list on a piece of paper. Just grab a piece of paper, write down a list. On the left-hand side, everything you want in a partner. On the right-hand side, everything you don't want in a partner. So for me, due to my personal preferences, what I didn't want, absolutely no way whatsoever, would be smoking, drug use, alcohol use, bad, terrible with money, always broke, I will put those in the no column. And the yes column, I'd have the kind of the opposites of those, like has a job, controls themselves, knows how to cook, the various things like that on the left-hand side of the column. And then I would use those basic filters, as you could say, when I go on a first date, to say, okay, how well does this person match up? Really. And if the person had any of the no's, if they smoke, if they drunk too much, if they were just a complete train wreck, then I wouldn't see them again. They're definitely being excluded from the one at that point. Whereas if they matched some of the yes column, then I get to see them a second, third date and stuff like that. And then after that, after the second or third date, if they've met all these kind of requirements you've written down, just throw away the list at that point, and then see how things are naturally progressing. And if they're progressing the right way, if you feel confident, it will lead to marriage naturally. And at some point, you'll just feel, yeah, it's the right thing to do is to get married. But if you get to the point you're thinking, this is dragging on and I'm not sure about this person, those are signs that really, it's stagnated. And even worse, if you're constantly fighting to see the person and just it's a hard time going on dates and stuff like that, then it's just not worth it. It's not the one. go back to the drawing board and do it again. That's it. Yeah, dating is very stressful and finding the one is very stressful. But the only condolence I have for you guys is there's more than the one out there for you. Yeah, when you found her, she's the one, but there's probably several people that suit you out there, the perfect match for you out there, and eventually you'll find the person. But don't just don't stress over it, and don't try to make something work that's not going to work. Can you make a brick fly? Well, you can make a brick fly for a little bit if you throw it hard enough, but eventually it's going to come crashing down. Same with a bad relationship. You can make the bad relationship work for a short period of time, but the brick doesn't have wings. Eventually it's going to come crashing down, like the bad relationship. You don't want that to happen. You want to build a glider, you don't want to build a brick. So build a relationship. Find a relationship. You don't build a relationship. You find a relationship. Find a relationship that naturally flies on its own, and you'll be fine. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Click down there, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon.